If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe.
Expecting. You know, Retro Royale is a great way for us to see how these guys are feeling. Surgical Goblin, bottom of your screen, starting things off with the Furnace. And just to remind you guys, remember, this is 3 best of 1, so you can see Surgical Goblin will go up against Mo Light, Ruben against Ta, Morton against Pedro, and then we'll move on, of course, to our BO3 of 1v1, 2v2, King of the Hill. And we should get that game sound for you guys coming your way if you're not already hearing it. Juicy, I've been seeing a lot of Royal Giant.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Retro Royale. I was running Splash Yard, and I played against this Royal Giant Furnace Lightning deck so many times, and I lost every single one of them, and I just started running this deck and started winning every game after it. I think this is one of, if not the best deck in Retro Royale, and I don't really know why. It's the Furnace, the RG I think is probably the best win condition in the Retro Royale meta, and it's just weird, but it works.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about it. Why is it that the Furnace, is it something with the spells, you know, and then RG coming through? I'm wondering if it has to do just a lot more with that direct damage at the bridge, the buildings, maybe not as many decks running defensive buildings, but I don't know. I've been running, I mean, obviously, you know me, I've been running Mortar, and there's an old school Mortar matchup that struggles against certain RGs, so I've run into RG troubles here and there, but I've been surprised to see it dominate as much as it has. And Giant, I've seen a lot of Giant too.
Yeah, it's Giant, and Royal Giant is the Giant retro meta. It's pretty fun, but it can be difficult to deal with. But Muhammad Light's got some good answers here. I'm assuming his last card is going to be a solid building, and he's got that Hunter, that high single target damage to burst down those Royal Giants at the bridge.
Yeah, Hunter Evolution comes out and then gets overshadowed by the Retro Royale coming out, so maybe feeling a little salty there, but still getting some usage here. And then this is something that you also love to see, these kind of old school minor poison control decks. You know, there's a traditional one with Inferno Tower, E-Wiz, you know, minor poison that B-Rad made famous way back in the day. This is maybe a bit of a facelifted version of that for Mo Light.
Nice pre-log, but the guards are not going to be hit. And then another Furnace on the left side. I like what Surgical's doing with the Furnace. Even though poison is the best counter to Furnace in the game, he is forcing the poison out kind of defensively on the strong side tower. Just kind of splitting up that minor poison. But he has to break through, right? And I like his attempt here. He's going to go RG in the back, and he's going to try and get to another Royal Giant to get that dual lane RG push that we know so well.
Yeah, it's so interesting how it has to be set up now, huh, Juice? It's not the same as like, all right, let's cycle our champion in the back. Let's get that 3-card cycle out. You know, you have to do it the old way. You got to put in the work. You have to walk uphill both ways to school, as it were, to get the Royal Giants out. And we do finally see the building come out from, or excuse me, the big spell come out from Surgical in that Lightning. And I don't know, Juice, Mo, one of the best cycle players in the world in the game. Is there going to be a way to break through this with the cannon, with the Hunter, with the Ice Spirit and the Log? Great ways to keep that RG at bay.
That's a good point. I don't know if the RG will ever hit the tower this game, but I'm not going to lie, Surgical might not need that. The Lightning is the best spell in Retro Royale. He's going to continue to get those lightning cycles out, and if he keeps baiting on that poison with that Furnace, maybe it will be enough, just the lightning cycle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, doing a good job of making sure that poison is never where Muhammad Light wants it, and then I've seen you do it many, many times before. Actually going to pick up a little bit of a free elixir there with that Ice Spirit being dropped down, and Surgical going for exactly maybe what you're saying, Juice, going for that lightning cycle. But the question is, will it be enough, and will it be enough in time? 55 seconds remain here. Hunter does not get a shot. Surgical has to drop that E-Wiz just to make sure that he doesn't take the extra damage. 1634, 2023. Troubles here for Surgical Goblin.
Yeah, we're in triple elixir. Minor poison really excels here. He's going to continue to spam the minor and the poison, and this is where Surgical really does need that breakthrough. He's placing the Furnace to get to the next Royal Giant in cycle. He's trying to use the Electro Wizard plus Big Giant Splash to break through left side, but that Hunter, it's so healthy. Here comes another Royal Giant, but there's another Hunter in cycle. The cannon is still on the board. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock.
2023, 11-19, poison at the bridge. Muhammad Light no longer concerned with poisons on the tower. Baby Dragon trying to break through. Hunter up high. E was there as well. RG has enough time, but Is there going to be a cannon plus lightning combo? There it is. High lightning. Good job stopping. Will get one shot? It does. Not enough.
GG's. And Muhammad Light going to take the first game here of our Boomer versus Zoomers kind of creator showdown. This is awesome. I love to see the OG clash. But, I mean, when you're going against people like Ta here in game number 2, it's pretty tough. Ta, you know, one of the best players in the game right now. We'll see Ruben using one of my favorite OG decks, Splash Yard here versus Bait.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I mean, this is a classic old school matchup here. Juicy, I'm sure you were very, very happy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Nightwitch coming down in the back, and of course, still going to look like Bait here from Ta. Nightwitch plus Bomber. This is looking more like, is this looking like Giant GY or just maybe Giant? What do you think this is, Juicy?
I think it's Golem. I've seen this Golem deck. It's actually interesting. There's a lot of decks that kind of look like Splash Yard. You have the Ice Wiz Tombstone Tornado combo in Golem, in a Royal Giant deck that I like, and also in Splash Yard. So yeah, this should be a good Golem Lightning deck. But the problem here for Ruben is that he doesn't have Log, and there is no Barbarian Barrel in Retro Royale, which kind of gives Bait maybe a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, we've been seeing a ton of Bait in Retro Royale, and you saw Ruben get pretty lucky there with the Tombstone coming out. Or let's not call it luck. I mean, this is a world champion, as you guys can see on the right-hand side of the screen, dominating 2020 finals, taking home the MVP and the championship, and of course getting 6th place in 2023. Does he get the King Tower activation? He absolutely does. But anyway, all that to be said, very nice Tombstone to catch that first Goblin Barrel out from Ta, but Ta doing the same recognition as you. Juicy probably moving forward, not going to let that happen once again. Even with the King Tower activated, Ruben here just slightly behind and doing a great job here in single, making sure that the gap doesn't get too wide.
Yeah, I like the Tombstone here from Ruben. It just kind of prevents the princesses at the bridge. And look at that, Ta actually going to predict the ice, prediction of Ice Spirit on the Ice Wizard, and using the can to keep that princess going. And once again, there's no small spell here. He has to use a tornado, but then the Gob Gang and the Goblin Barrel are going to have their fun.
Yeah, Ta doing a really good job of keeping up the pressure here, making sure that, you know, Ruben can't build up that push that he wants. Now decides to go Tombstone in the back. Juicy, is there a point when Ruben's just going to have to eat a lot of damage, soak a lot of damage? Is this maybe it right here to get a Golem in front of these two cards?
Wow, I mean, you called it. Golem at the bridge here. I think he found his moment, his window to try and get a Golem down. And that's kind of what this matchup's about, right? You can't... Oh, wow. Okay, nice rocket. Wow. I cannot believe that hit everything.
I mean, not a huge deal. The bat does get the princess off the board, but yeah, really, really nice rocket there from Ruben, cleaning up everything. Skelly's piling up on the right-hand side. We know that's not really going to do anything. 2097, 26-34. Now Ruben's kind of shown his hand in the way that he's going to be able to get pushes together, right? Juicy feels like it's going to be kind of defend barrels, see if that defense from the barrel can turn into a counter push, and then if not, looks like he's going to go opposite lane here with the Golem into his weaker tower.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I mean by trying to find the correct window. He goes for the Golem back here, but Ta with a really well-timed pressure at the bridge, and it's just a lot of damage. The question is, can he get any damage going on offense? And I don't know if it's going to be possible versus this Rocket. Rocket drops down, takes out most of the Golem HP and that big dragon, but we do have a second Golem at the bridge here, Andrew.
Second Golem at the bridge. Princess so far behind in no man's land. No way to get through. Does the Bomber? No, Bomber not able to connect. Nice, perfect timing there from the gang from Ruben. Now just going to try to get some death damage and clear everything off the board with that Golem explosion. 21:57, 14:24, and only 70 seconds remain.
Yeah, we have 5 seconds here until triple elixir as well. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Golem can do good in triple elixir, but once again, you're going against that Rocket. The Rocket cycle could ensue at any point here in triple with the defensive capabilities.
And Todd doing a really good job of recognizing, look, you can reach over the river here. That's the biggest threat for you to get on top of my princesses. Yeah. You're not going to want to NATO every time. You're going to want to go Baby Dragon up high. Ideally, probably Baby Dragon every single time, because then the Baby Dragon can still work towards the Golem push. But Ruben right now just kind of hamstrung by some great defense. Rocket out left-hand side. And now another Golem down right.
I just think these Rockets are perfect from Todd. He has not missed a single unit. And even hit the Golemites there. He's trying to break through with the Baby Dragon Ice Wiz
Baby
Tornado.
Dragon!
Wait!
Baby Dragon!
Baby Drag does get retargeted by the Ice Spirit. He needs to get a Knight down. Princess trying to help from the left-hand side. Can he defend while also getting a rocket off? He does get the rocket off, but
I think he's gonna get it, Juicy. He's gonna get back on top.
It's on the tower. The lightning drops, and Ruben with the comeback. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he won this game.
Boomers, boomers. Dude, look at that beard. Look at that mustache coming. I'm just gonna keep dating myself here, Juicy, as we're moving on to our best of 3. So guys, Surgical Goblin going up against Ta. This is a 1v1 best of 3, and there you go, QR code on the screen for those that maybe are a little slow on the draw.
And I know some of you guys might be here for those lucky drops, but let's be real. What the real ones in the chat are here for is this gameplay. We have log bait mirror matchup. Ta versus Surgical Goblin, Retro Royale. This is about to be insane, Andrew.
Yeah, I love to see this. And Juicy, this, I mean, it might be, this is actually something I was really good at in 2017, was miscalling decks. But Ta, maybe, you think Ta here is running big spell and then Surgical's running no spell? Because we see the Dark Goblin?
I think that's right. I think usually when I see Princess and Dark Gob in the same deck, I don't expect a big spell. Yeah, I'm assuming Surgical's last card would be a building, and then...
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It is a building of sorts.
Yeah, we do have a cannon card instead of the normal cannon. I kind of like that. I think that's going to give him maybe a slight edge in this matchup. It's just going to make it so that he has one more card that you have to worry about on offense.
And Dark Goblin going to meet the Princess up here. Knight to block. And...
Nice defense. Nice ghost as well for the Princess. But the Princess first attack speed rework kind of allows that one hit there. That was actually pretty insane.
25-30 to 28-83. Surgical Goblin in the lead just by a bit, but looking pretty clear to us watching that that is a most likely a Lightning as the last card here for Toss. So Surgical Goblin is technically in the lead, but not if you count spell power.
Yeah, a Lightning Rocket. I mean, who knows what this last card could be. I mean, it's going to come down to some solid defense from Ta. I mean, I believe this is the same deck that he played in his first match.
Yeah.
He did lose just barely versus Ruben with that Golem deck, but in this situation, Surgical doesn't have that breakthrough power once he gets a triple.
Nice job here by Surgical, just doing what he can to not use logs against barrels. We've heard that so many times over the years. When you're in these bait mirror matchups, what you really want is to have that log for anything other than the barrel, whether it's a Dark Goblin, whether it's a Princess, whether it's a Goblin Gang, maybe piled up around your opponent's Princess Tower. And good damage there from Surgical on both sides, Juicy. 22-22 and 24-10, the two lowest towers on the board, both belong to Top.
I'm so glad you said that. I don't know why. I never kind of really, like, thought about that, but it's very similar in Splash Art as well. You don't want to use your poison on defense versus the graveyard. You want to find ways to defend so you can counter push and use your poison offense. And I never registered in my mind that would be similar in log bait, but that's exactly what Surgical's doing. I mean, speaking of like kind of the boomer playlist here, I mean, Surgical was the greatest of all time before Muhammad Light kind of took that scene. And he was always been really known for log bait, so I'd love to see him playing this deck.
Yeah, I mean, you took all the words out of my mouth there. Surgical playing Comfort, doing it, you know, here against one of the best Zoomers in the game. Also taught a really, really good log bait player. And yeah, Surgical was always just a guy. Him and Morton were just so well known for their small interactions. Although Surgical getting out-cycled there by Top. Princess gets on tower as well. Now Princess just a little bit early gets on top of the cannon. Cannon to catch again. 17-48, 24-10, and Surgical Goblin just slipping a little bit there mentally.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quickly things can shift. We have Surgical trying to take back the advantage, but the cannon card is not going to be able to make it to the tower, even with the Goblin push. Princess cleaning up decent on defense. There's only 30 seconds left, though.
And one Goblin gets through. Goblins to the front of the tower there. Royal Ghost can only hit 2 at most. Now you see Surgical with a little bit of frustration on his face, recognizing this is slipping. 21-67, 16-28. Log comes out defensively for Surgical. Tries to get a big push here on the right-hand side. Those cannons putting in work for Top.
Barrel through, but the logs and cycle. Gang trying to break through on the left with the Princess as well, but the Princess and the cannon defensively for Ta is going to get the job done. Surgical calls the good game. He doesn't have a big spell. Ta with the classic sip of the water after taking the victory.
That's right. That's right. His calling card, if you will, and taking game number 1.
More of a beatdown, like lightning, like Royal Giant lightning or golden lightning type of thing. And it seems like the Zoomers are going for kind of stuff that they're more comfortable with the cycle. We get the minor cycle and a bait cycle so far. And it looks like Morton's going to flip the script a little bit here, though. We have a double cycle matchup. We have minor poison versus what looks to be a Hog Rider, Mini P.E.K.K.A, maybe Rocket deck. It could have Rocket, it could have Fireball for Morton.
And yes, finally, someone has come to their senses and run Mortar here in Retro Royale. We love to see it. So Morton going with Hog Princess. I think this is that Mini P.E.K.K.A deck, right?
Yep.
This deck is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then top of your screen here, Pedro going with some version of Minor Poison Mortar, which you know warms my heart. Goes with Hunter, even though there's been a Musketeer version that's been a little bit more popular.
Yeah, here comes the Hog Rider to the left side, and he does get the mortar down. I love to see Pedro. I mean, I don't know. I know Pedro is considered a zoomer here in this tournament, but I love to see Pedro using old school minor mortar poison. This is what it's all about, guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is what worked out for Muhammad Light. Pedro's kind of running his own version of it. He's got Mortar out. We all knew that Pedro was obsessed with Mortar the very first time we saw him at World Finals. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is 2 of the guys in the game that are running their comfort decks, obviously with a little bit of a, let's see, going back in time. I always like to say, like, moving forward, but yeah, definitely going back in time here. And we'll see how things stack up. Morton obviously going to have some issues with this Mortar on defense.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to what his last card is from Morton. I mean, it could, like I said, it could be Rocket or it could be Fireball. I don't know. I feel like he kind of needs a Rocket. I think that Rocket Cycle might end up being like a main win condition here, since Pedro has a quicker cycle and that Mortar, like you said, it could be very difficult to break through with the Hawk.
So Mini P.E.K.K.A on top there. Ice Spirit to distract. Now Mortar should get on top of that right-hand tower if it doesn't lock on the Mini. Mini perfectly placed, and the Ice Golem comes down. Nice to see Morton on top of those interactions. And Princess to clean up the Mortar plus Hunter? No.
Wow, but the Mortar shoots at the Ice Golem that was already gone. I'm sure that you can attest to how annoying those interactions can be. But yeah,
absolutely.
Like you said, Morton is really on top of making sure these mortars never connect, and it's almost like a Mortar versus Princess matchup here. I really like how Morton is defending and making use of that Princess as much as possible.
And there you go, Juicy. You talked about it before. Lightning being the best spell in Retro Royale has been being used a lot today. It's been a lot of Lightning, a lot of Poison. Of course, we did see Rocket. I mean, now I'm just starting to list every spell in the game that is available, but Lightning definitely the favorite.
Yeah, I didn't expect the Lightning here, but I actually think it's better than the Rocket. It synergizes better with the Hog Rider to try and break through versus the Mortar, but also, like we talked about, it's just instantaneous damage. And after like the Rocket's tower damage nerf that happened, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't even remember, the Lightning does pretty similar amount of damage.
Morton once again doing some nice stuff with some 1 and 2 elixir cards, as he's done in his career. Ice Golem at the bridge, maybe get a Hog behind it here. There's the Hog Rider. We'll see a Mortar maybe on defense from Pedro, up high. Nice.
And the Lightning does drop. It's going to hit the Mortar the Knight. Hunter does drop down, but the Lightning damage is there. This is very close. It's anything can happen.
And gonna have to get that log out for those Skellies. 2187, 2177. Princess to soak up the Mortar shot. You never want to have to do that. And that Mortar, I don't think it's on tower. I think it should be on the Ice Golem. And there it is, yes.
And Morton's just trying to make sure there's always something on the map to make sure the Mortar doesn't lock. But that's the thing, that Pedro knows like how exactly to play a matchup like this. He's not only playing that Mortar to get damage, he's doing it to distract his opponent from going on offense while chipping away with the minor poison. It's almost like there's 3 win conditions in Pedro's deck.
And so much elixir being spent at the bridge by Pedro, doing a great job of making sure hogs can't break through. You saw that preemptive hunter come down 2 hogs ago, and like you're saying, Juicy, those mortars up high baiting out the mini P.E.K.K.A so that now the miner can only be picked up by the skeletons or not picked up at all, picked up late. Great stuff there from Pedro. You can see the frustration on Morton's face. And there we go. Zoomer's going to take 2 of the 3 first few games here. Surgical and Morton not able to pick up their respective BO1s, but Ruby